Earlier this week, I don't think I have this much laughter as I did for a long ass time. Because I was in a hotel 15 minutes away from where I was when all this went down. And after the hotel mini vacation, I was still laughing so hard to the point that my head started hurting and my jaw started becoming sour a couple times. It's that crazy. This will possibly go down as one of the funniest things Elon has done on this app. Context a couple days, or at least the time of recording this, via November 26th. The app now has a feature where you can see where the account is based on. Well, we already know that this feature was a thing since October, but it's now went live a couple days ago. Some may be like, dude, all it does is to make what country they are living in more known. What's so funny about it? Well, I have a definition to read out. Pretend to speak and act so as it appears that something is the case, when in fact is not. In this app, there were people who claimed to be in this country or part of the party or culture in this country, and vice versa. You'll see why in just a second. And that alone is what makes it so damn funny. Like, there were so many accounts that just pretend to be a person in this country or have something to say in that country, but it turns out that they aren't that person and live across the world from the country they claim to be representative. And that's just too funny to me. Because what the hell do you mean that you're this whole ass MAGA account supporting Donald Trump and you're from fucking Thailand or Nigeria or somewhere that isn't from the United States? Like that's just way too funny for me. And on top of that, I picked some of my postal famous from this phenomenon. Is just crazy, man. However, though, despite this being funny and all, this only works when people are pretending to be such. There were people using this as a gotcha for certain artists they have opinions on, and that just doesn't really work if they are not pretending to be in that country. For example, someone tried to expose a Palestinian news account for not being in Palestine, but in Australia. This doesn't work because, first of all, with Palestinian conditions right now, it is almost impossible to get some account wanting in there. And second of all, it doesn't really seem that they claim to be Palestinian in Palestinian land. I'm saying this because there are multiple Palestinians or people who have Palestinian affiliations, such as a parent or something, who are in different countries right now. And just in general, people can be in foreign ethnicities as one another while being another country. For example, me representing Belize due to my parents and my older relatives, but I've been in the US ever since I was born, and it's kind of public knowledge in my videos and on Twitter. But moving on. One big negative that came with this update is blatant racism rising up. And the biggest target of this is India. Out of all the countries, India seems to be targeted by not only the people pretend to be other people, but instead lives in India, but also the other side of the coin, who uses the Indian race against someone for whatever reason. Some may be like, why India? Well, other than the fact that it is one of the most populated countries in the world, and also just some unfunny stereotypes against Indians by people who are just unfunny, that they think they're funny but they're just not by doing that. There's no reason for someone to be this offended that someone is purely living in India. Yeah, the people who live there got exposed the most, but it doesn't mean that you are valid to be racist towards those race of people. Or at the very least, for the people making out their comments and be Indian. I mean, it's a big reason why I make fun of out there comments by people who claim to be Argentina. I say stuff like, hey, Argentina can be great and all, and have great people in there, but the people who post with that flag, it's not giving them a good look. And I feel like how people are treating Indians in the wake of this update is kind of the main problem with this update. And also people guessing where they live based on their comments on something. Like, why do you care this much? If they're pretending to be such, then it's valid. If they are not, then it doesn't work because it destroys the whole point of what makes this update so funny. But hey, that's my thoughts of it. What do you guys think about this? And yeah, this is Forza Employer, and I'm out here. Peace.